3 million gallons of crap into a river in Colorado, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Let me give you the latest I have on this from 21 minutes ago. USA Today. Gold mine's toxic plume extends to Utah. Actually was in New Mexico. Sorry, not Colorado. Farmington, New Mexico. The plume of heavy metals released last week into the Animas River from the Gold King mine near Silverton, Colorado, reached Utah on Monday. Evan O'Keefe, supervisor with the San Juan County Geographical Information Systems Department, estimated today that the plume, which is now in the San Juan River, had traveled about 3 hours south of Anath, Utah. The Gold King mine's discharge raises the possibility of long-term damage from the toxic metals falling out of suspension as the plume slowly moves along the river. Sediment does settle, said Sean McGrath, administrator of the EPA's Region 8. It settles down to the bottom of the riverbed. One rural water user association in the county has spent thousands of dollars buying water from Farmington and Aztec because it had to shut down its wells after the toxic mine waste spilled into the Animas last week. Mustard-colored water loaded with heavy metals, including arsenic, lead, copper, aluminum, cadmium, began rushing out of the Gold King mine in southern Colorado, it is Colorado, on Wednesday, after an EPA team disturbed a dam of loose rock lodged in the mine. The deluge of polluted water poured into Cement Creek and continued into the Animas River. The plume of pollution, clearly visible from the air and estimated to be more than 80 miles long at one point, reached Farmington, New Mexico on Saturday morning. So it's Colorado, New Mexico, Utah so far. McGrath said future runoff from storms will kick that toxic sediment back into the water, which means there will need to be long-term monitoring. He added that the Animas River has historically been polluted by acid mine drainage. Not like this. If you look at the photos, it's unbelievable. The San Juan River travels west through the Navajo Nation, then converges with the Colorado River at Lake Point in southeastern Utah. For the chapter communities near the San Juan River, it is the main source of water for crops and livestock. The slug of pollution, which the EPA says contains metals and is about as acidic as black coffee, is headed toward Lake Powell. Now, you know it's killing everything, right? It's killing everything that's in that river, or in these rivers. Silverton is surrounded by abandoned mines, and the EPA was checking on one of the worst ones, the Gold King, when the breach occurred. They damaged the dam, is what they did. And then the polluted water just started pouring out. Area residents are furious that the federal agency charged with fighting pollution accidentally caused it. The Animas has largely returned to running clear below Silverton and Durango, although some of the orange sediment remains in some puddles and along the shore. Officials advise residents with wells in the floodplains of the Animas River and the San Juan River downstream at the confluence of the two rivers to have their water tested, obviously. This is a massive poison spill. Unlike carbon dioxide, this truly is toxic. You've got this toxic orange wastewater pouring into these rivers. The EPA was trying to clean an abandoned coal mine, and it damaged the dam that was in place. Now, you heard me read in this report the word accidental, accidental. You know, it's interesting. When we have oil spills, as we did with BP, it was accidental. They're not purposely doing that. And yet, what do we hear? We send in the FBI. They immediately start subpoenaing corporate executives. The President of the United States gets behind a microphone. Politicians from both parties get up, blow hot air, and then sit down. We have all sorts of media in the locations, taking pictures, showing you dead animals, dead fish, what's going to happen to the plant life, interviewing families that live along the rivers, in this case, including Native Americans. You get a long history about, in this case, would be the gold mining company and what it had done to the area. We're getting none of this. Zero. Because the EPA did it. Now, maybe because my highlighting this in a national program with millions and millions of listeners, maybe that will cause someone in the media to do something about this in terms of reporting it with some seriousness, but they want to protect the EPA. They want to protect the government. Now, will anybody at the EPA be held to account? Will the Justice Department subpoena anybody at the EPA? Will anybody at the EPA be prosecuted? Will anybody at the EPA have to make recompense to the people who are going to lose their livelihoods and their homes? That is, the use of them for any effective purpose? No. No, not really. It's an accident. It's the federal government. It's the EPA. No, the EPA is good. Meanwhile, where's Barack Obama? Barack Obama started his vacation early. He left town Friday night for Martha's Vineyard. He went to Martha's Vineyard, Ted Kennedy's old home. Has anybody heard from Obama today? No. Has anybody asked him about this? No. Is it his EPA that did this? Yes. Is he ultimately responsible for this? Is he not the president? Nothing. Not a word. Instead, he can go on and on about global warming and climate change, how it's the greatest threat to America. As I said the other day, no, it's not. He's the greatest threat to America. People get mad at me when I state the obvious, that this man is an incompetent, that his administration is incompetent, because they insist, no, it's not incompetent, it's ideological. They're not mutually exclusive. It's ideological and incompetent, and that's why it's doubly destructive.